Now, Standard 9. Today I am going to teach you daffodils. Now, daffodils is a yellowish colored flower. Okay, written by William Wordsworth, who is a lover of nature. Okay. Now he says, I wandered lonely as a cloud. Now, according to the first line, when he uses the word wandered lonely, means he was walking aimlessly. And it seems that he was in a very sad mood. So he is comparing himself, it's a simile. The first line is a simile where he is comparing his aimless walk to the lonely clouds that floats on high over vales and hills. So he is comparing himself how aimlessly he was walking, like how aimlessly the clouds, they float over vales. Vales mean valleys and high hills. So when you see a cloud moving very, lazily, they float. Okay. So here the first line tells us that the poet was in a melancholic mood or in a sad mood, and he compares his mood to the way the clouds they float over the valleys and hills. When all at once I saw a crowd. So while he was walking aimlessly, he was in a sad, dejected mood. Okay. Suddenly he saw a crowd of a host of golden daffodils. Okay. Host here means a group of golden daffodils. Now he has not used, daffodils are actually yellowish in color, but he gave it an additional punch because he was overwhelmed, he was taken up when suddenly he saw a group of yellowish flowers where he talks about it like he emphasized it as a golden daffodil. Now, where did he find them? Where were these flowers found? They were beside the lake, beneath the trees. They were fluttering and dancing in the breeze. So while he was in a sad mood, he was walking, he does not know where he was walking, but he compares himself to the lonely clouds. So then with that only you come to know he was alone and he was in a sad mood. And suddenly he saw a huge amount of yellowish flowers. That is the daffodils. So here, host means a group. A crowd also, it's a group of people. So here, instead of saying a crowd of golden daffodils, he uses the word a host of golden daffodils. Okay. Here he has used I told you, he has given an additional punch. This golden daffodil emphasizes that how he was taken up, how happy he became when how his mood had changed from a sad one to a happy one when he saw this group of daffodils. Okay. Then we must know the first line is a simile. Okay. Now we come to personification. Here he has personified. What has he personified? The daffodils. He has personified these daffodils like human beings who are dancers. Okay, he says they were fluttering and dancing in the breeze. So here a personification has been used. Okay, and on the first line it is a simile. So now we come to know about the daffodils. The poet was walking lonely, alone. He was in a sad, dejected mood, and he compares himself to the loneliness of the clouds which is floating above the valleys and hills. The second stanza says, continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. Okay. Now he has compared the crowd, the host of golden daffodils. They were plenty in number. So he has compared it to the stars in the sky, okay, which we cannot count. And twinkle in the Milky Way means at night time. We can only see the stars at night and they keep twinkling. So he had found some similarity between the way the flowers were dancing. It was compared to the twinkling of the stars in the Milky Way. They stretched in never-ending line. That means you couldn't see the other end. Along the margin of a bed. Okay. That means they stretched a long line. Now a bay is actually the opening of land towards the sea. Like we have the Bay of Bengal. Okay, the Bay of Bengal is like this. So this is the land, the mouth opening towards the sea. And this is the margin of the bay. So they were also they stretched in a long, never-ending line. Then he says, 10,000 saw I at a glance. So at one look, I could see that there were more than 10,000. Means he couldn't count the number of number of flowers that were there in the garden. Tossing their heads in sprightly dance. Okay, they were tossing. Now, as the wind was blowing towards one end, so like a group of dancers, all of them were going towards one side. Again, when the wind was blowing from that side, again they were synchronizing. Okay, so that scene was very fascinating to the poet. It was like magic for him. It had touched his heart because he never ever experienced such a beautiful sight in his life, where he didn't even realize that I was walking aimlessly. I was in a sad mood. But after observing the daffodils, he realized that his sadness had left him. His sad mood had disappeared. He didn't even realize that his sadness had moved. And he seemed to be happy because he felt as if these daffodils were calling him, come and join us in our dance. So he was thrilled. Okay, he just couldn't imagine what he saw or what he experienced. So till here, I'll keep it till here. Okay, till the second stanza. Again on Tuesday, I will explain the rest. And I will be sending you the notes. Okay, it's a very beautiful poetry. And where you come to know how a person in a sad mood didn't even realize that his mood had changed into a happy one. Thank you.